Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In case if you're new here, my name's Dave. May the Schwartz be with you. And did you know it's a great day to wear a watch? Today I have on my Timex. This is part of the City collection with that striking blue dial. I have it on this nice supple brown leather strap. I haven't worn this in a while, so it's getting some wrist time. Awesome watch. I've done a full review on this. You can check it out up here, and I will put a link down in the description if you want to snag one yourself. So to my returning Schwartz force, welcome back. I'm super excited, guys. This is a first for my channel, and that is because a company reached out to me. I was blown away, super grateful. You may remember I did a review on an Infantry watch. Now that was an homage of the Bell & Ross watch, and it was really cool. I still have it. Now, someone from Infantry reached out to me via email and they said, hey, we like your content, we like your channel. We would like to send you a couple watches to review. Would you be interested? And I'm like, yes, definitely. What do I got to do? How does this work? It's all new to me. Now, one of the things that's kind of funny how this worked out is I was just telling my wife recently about how in my collection, I don't have any field watches, and there's so many great ones. I could never just make a decision and get one to review. And then Infantry reached out to me, and one of the options of the two watches they wanted to send was a field watch. So of course, yes, send that bad boy over. But the second watch I actually declined, and the reason being, I'll show a picture of it here. I know what I like and don't like about certain watches, and I knew right off the bat this was a watch I wasn't going to fall in love with, and I want my channel to be watches that I would buy and that I would recommend. I'm not saying it's a bad watch or that you shouldn't buy it at all. That's not what I'm saying. It's just for my style and what I want. I'm gonna buy watches that I like. That's the direction that I want to keep my channel going. And I politely declined the second one, but I said yes, for sure that field watch, send it over. And so I have it. I've waited. I wanted to give it some honest wrist time, and that way I could give you my review on it. But this is like such a special moment for my channel. I'm super stoked, and we're almost at 1,000 subs as well. So the timing of everything is just awesome. Thank you so much to my Schwartz force, my guys that have been with me from the very first, and gals, I know some of you ladies are there too, that have been with my channel from the start, and all of my most recent subs as well. It means so much to me. And so once we hit 900 subs, I'm gonna do a formal announcement of my giveaway that'll come up at 1,000. And then once we hit 1,000, we'll do the drawing. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Okay guys, so here is the watch. Now you'll notice that at the top here, the branding says MDC, and so that actually stands for Momentary Design Concepts. And that is I guess a subsidiary of Infantry, because you'll notice down at the bottom where it says made by Infantry. Now they did send the watch on this Nato strap. They also have another color as far as the case. So they have some options I'll show you here on screen. That you can kind of pick and see. I picked this silver colored case because I kind of like the look of it. A lot of watches I have the stainless steel case, but this one, it's an interesting kind of look and feel. And so this is the one that I went with. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start off with measurements as we always do. Has a case diameter of 40 millimeters. If we include the crown, it's going to come in right at 43 millimeters. Case thickness is bringing us right at 10.5 millimeters. Not a very thick case. It is a quartz movement, as you can see here with the second hand ticking, but just, real simple kind of clean design. The case material, it is I'm gonna say like a base metal case material. So this is something that it's kind of hard to explain. It's almost like, I don't want to say sandblasted, but it has a unique finishing color to it. But it's not like, it's smooth, so it's not rough. It feels really nice. So we see that it has a stainless steel case back. There's no rotating bezel or anything. It's just fixed into the case itself. And the indicators here are nice and bright. Got that bright white on this black background. Now, one of the things that I really liked about this design, as opposed to some of the other Infantry watches, is this one has a day-date complication. Really cool to see, especially at this price point. This watch runs anywhere from, I would say, $25 to $40, depending on the sale price. I'll put a link down in the description for you, so if you want to pick one of these up, by all means, you can use that link. That helps my channel out as well. So if you decide to get this watch, please do that. So you'll see here, military quartz, we are getting 50 meters of water resistance. And then I like that we have minute indices. And then of course the hour markers are just real simple with a triangle up at 12 that is printed onto the dial. And you'll notice that it actually has a layer where it kind of dips down. So there's some depth there, gives a little bit of, it's not just a simple flat dial. It gives it some depth. And that's really nice because, you know, they could have just done a flat dial, called it a day, but they went a little bit above the norm and put some depth there. Really cool. Now the lume is really decent on this watch. You know, it's not super luminova or anything like that. It's not going to last all night, but compared to a lot of the other watches I have, this lume is great. It's on not only the minute and hour hands, which are these baton shaped hands, but also on the second hand, and then of course on the indices, the hour markers, that outer edge there along the dial. So very easy to see and read in low light. I even was wearing this watch and I wore it to bed and my wife kind of looked over and she's like, wow, is that the lume on your watch? And I was like, yeah. Granted, it was in the light, you know, in our kitchen, but just going into bed with it being darker, she noticed it too. So, you know, that's kind of a cool point for infantry there on having some decent lume on this watch. So here we have the lume. Hopefully this is coming through on the camera for you so you can see the indices. And then of course, you can see that second hand going. It's definitely brighter in person than what I'm seeing here on the camera, but you get the point. The lume is pretty good on it. Now again, it's not gonna last all night, but it's gonna give you a good amount of time and you know, before it fades out, which is nice. The NATO strap that it came on is pretty good as well. Just a real simple NATO strap. Now it is 22 millimeters, so if you are gonna do strap swaps, 22 millimeters is the lug width, so you'll definitely want to stick with that. When you have the NATO strap, as most of you guys know, this is going to cause the watch to rise up a bit. And these lugs, because they're kind of flat, it's gonna rest and sit above the wrist. And so I'll show you what I mean. Again, I have a 7-inch wrist. So this is how it looks on my wrist. It looks really well, but you do see where it rises up and kind of floats on top of the wrist because of that NATO strap and then kind of bunching up underneath. So I found out from Matt over at MG Modern Watches, definitely go check his channel out. I'll link it down below. And he was showing how you can do this other technique with the NATO strap. We kind of slide it down a little bit and then we go over and back under here. So now by putting it on that way, see the difference? It sits flat on the wrist and it looks just a little cleaner in my opinion. I think I'm gonna start wearing more of my watches with the NATO like this. I think it just looks better in my opinion. One thing that I like is you'll see there's not a whole lot of bounce in that second hand. So we got a really nice, what seems to be a decent movement that the watch has on the inside, which is great. I've seen some cheaper watches where it just bounces all over the place. And then of course I like that we have the smaller indices for military hours, you know, 13 to 24 inside the dial. Sometimes it's inside, sometimes it's outside, but I like that it doesn't look too crazy and out of place. It looks really nice actually. I think if they had done like the 5, 10, 15 on the other side, it would have just been too much going on. So here we'll go through the time. It's nice and smooth. That second hand bounces a little when it's going through the time adjustment, as you can see there. And then the actual day date is gonna start right there about what it was at around midnight. And then of course the date of week is changing all the way through till about 4:30 a.m. So it takes a while. When we go back to position 1, we go the other way. And you can see here it rotates through the day of week. I like how it kind of just falls into place. It doesn't really go past the date. It just, once it catches, it just drops into that next day. You know, I really don't have any complaints with this watch. If there was one thing I would maybe recommend, of course, you know, it's hard to demand things like sapphire, crystal at this price point, but maybe this crown, the only thing I can't tell is if this is a solid stainless steel crown or not. That was something that I did provide feedback to on Infantry just because I couldn't tell if this is stainless steel or not. Obviously the case is not, but It looks really good. It feels nice. I still hit it with my polishing cloth because that's just a habit of mine. You know, if you're looking for an alternative to Timex or some of the other watches out there, maybe they're too small. I know like with the Seiko 5 series, they're 36 or 38 millimeters, are a lot smaller. And so this one here being 40 may be a better option for you gentlemen out there with, you know, slightly larger wrist. I think that this would be a great choice. And of course, if I run into any issues along the way, I will do an update. So yeah, there you go. That's my review of the Infantry MDC field watch. Day date, 50 meters of water resistance. Just a cool little watch that I've been really pleased with. You know, this being a first for the channel, I'm super stoked. This will stay in my collection because it represents a milestone for my channel, and it's just really cool that they reached out to me and sent me this watch. So huge thank you to Infantry. I really appreciate it. You guys keep it up. So if you guys have any experience with Infantry watches, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this one? Do you like it? Do you think the value is good for the price? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, may the Schwartz be with you. I will look forward to seeing you guys at the next one. Take care.